Hello everybody, today we'll be talking about the Zantos and Signa, the duo banner coming for the second year anniversary. Yesterday's Shriven talk was really good. They acknowledged that the roadmap was not really satisfying for most of us, and they are considering making alterations in the roadmap. Hopefully it's so much better than what we have currently. Either way, let's start with the Zantos. Zantos is really good. Zantos is a warrior that has the ability to pierce both fire and light weakness. His main gimmick is that he's the first character in the entire game with the ability to use up to 5 battle points in a single turn. Zantos has really good skills. First off, he has a 3-hit single target sword that increases with the amount of PP that he uses every time until to 8 at the 5 PP mark. This skill is basically his best nuking option with the Solon plus EX Primrose combination. He also has 3 AoE sword that pierces fire and light. It hits up to 6 times with 5 PP consumption. This is his best option for AoE nuking, which is insane. He has a 2 single target sword that becomes a guaranteed critical after using 5 PP. It also recovers 1 PP. His ultimate is really good. It hits all the enemies 3 times and it will inflict the entire front row with plus 5 PP regeneration for that turn. If you are a person that uses max boost a lot with EX Arone, you can safely use the Zantos ult after the second break of max boosting with your units. That will refresh their PP back to 5 and you can just bam it again if you really love it. It's still really good for speed clears too. His first passive is buffs his sword damage up by 15% and changes his PP boost system from 1 to 2 to 3 to 135 PP boost system. This will make him really good. At first you might have struggles using him, but as time moves on you will learn how to use him really good. The 5 PP system, it greatly increases how many turns buffs or debuffs, yes, he can debuff, and the damage of some of his skills. His 2-hit single target nuke has for 415 potency at 5 PP, and that's pretty nuts. You will learn how to use him and he will cook real hard with you. On to his second passive. When there is a unbroken enemy and Zantos uses a skill, he will recover 3 PP. How it works is simple like this. Imagine there's a 1 broken enemy and Zantos uses, let's say, 5 PP. He will recover 3 out of 5 PP when he finish attacking. So he will have an ability that will allow him to regenerate most of his PP back easily. And that is a really crucial passive for him. On to his Awakening 4 accessory. His Awakening 4 accessory is also really good. While there is a broken enemy, recover 40 SP regen. So how it works is that when there's a broken enemy, think of it, recover 80 SP. 80 SP for a unit like Zantos is really nuts because he is kinda a SP hungry unit. At the start of battle, self regenerate plus 1 PP every time for 3 turns. I don't wanna talk about how overpowered plus 1 PP regen is. We all know it's like really nuts. Probably like one of the top best accessories in the game, and overall it's a wonderful accessory to have. Now on to Signa. Signa is basically a debuffer unit that debuffs multiple enemies at the same time, but here's the catch. She debuffs really hard. She is basically the best debuffer in the entire game, and it's not even close. First off, she has a really unique debuff which is called physical resistance down, and elemental resistance down. Now, hold up. Pause for a second and hear me out. What is the physical resistance down and elemental resistance down, may you ask? It's a unique debuff. What it does is lowers the sword, spear, fire, ice, all debuffs in the game by 15%. How does it work with the other weakness? Like, let's say if you have, let's say 20% sword resistance down, it will add together up to the cap of 30%, which means if you have 50% sword resistance down and 50% physical resistance down, it will add together to 30%. Note, if you have, let's say, sword present at 30% already, you're not gonna get anything. This is pretty nuts though. It's all debuffs in the entire game. Now on to her second skill. What it is it hits all the enemies 2 times, and depending on how many icons that enemy got, they will receive a specific debuff. For example, if the enemy has 6 or more debuff icons, they will get 15% physical attack and elemental attack down. If they have over 12, they will get 15% physical defense and elemental defense down for 2 turns. The most broken and impactful ultimate in the entire game. What it does is all enemies receive 19% physical attack down, elemental attack down, physical defense down, and elemental defense down for 2 turns. That's ultimate level 9. If you ultimate level 10, that's 20% for 3 turns. I don't want to say how broken this ultimate is. First off, you make your units tougher to kill, and you debuff the enemy in the exact same time in the hardest category to cap. And with Hornet EX on Audio S, if you got debuff accessories, you will get 30% of maximum debuff for 7 turns, which is insane. Her 2 passives are, her first passive is 5% physical attack and elemental attack down to all enemies while she is in the back row. And her second passive is while she's in the front row, all enemies will have 5% physical defense down and elemental defense down. These do count as debuff icons on the enemies, so that helps her a lot on getting her attack conditions easier, like her debuff 2-hit or her 4-hit AoE that increases to 6-hit. I forgot to mention that, but she does have that skill too. Oh boy, this A4. If you have a specific A4s, this is the second best accessory in the entire game after Bargilo's A4. For example, if you, let's say, yes, on the surface, the stats are really nice and the 50% magic up is really cool, but like 5% physical attack, physical defense, magic attack, and elemental defense, like those are not a lot. But you soon realize that you have something like Harley's A4 that jumps from 5% to 20% for 6 turns of physical attack down. If you do a lot of EX refights, you know how many bosses use physical attacks, and they obliterate most of your units if they do not have any defensive buffs at all. So starting the battle, no buffs, nothing, just 20% physical attack down on the boss will let you survive encounters that otherwise you will not. And the physical defense part, also the exact same thing, but for Nicola's A4, it will extend it for a really long time. That if you have this A4 and Nicola's A4 somehow has a free-to-play quote-unquote player, you will have so much time to break with the Analog's A4 and let's say with a second accessory, and you will still have 30% physical defense down, which is really good. The elemental defense, it will jump to 20% with Vulcan's A4, and if you break with Solon, that will jump to 30%, and Vulcan's A4 is for free, so yeah, that's pretty much like the second best accessory, provided you have a specific amount of units A4. Either way, I hope you enjoyed this video, and I try to edit this as much as I can. I know it's probably like not top, but I'm trying to improve my channel moving forward. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and see you in the next one.